Hi everyone! Today I'm back with a step-by-step tutorial to one of my makes featured in Creative Stamping magazine issue 143. I made 5 gorgeous gift ideas in here and I was requested to make a tutorial to a couple of these. Today we are going to make the tissue cover box. So it's really exciting because I loved all of these projects, and I actually can tell you that I have 3 tutorials coming up from this series. So I will be using the stamps that came with the magazine. It's a gorgeous spring themed stamp set, and also the papers that you can digitally download and print yourself. I will be using those 2 today. So to start my box, I will need 4 pieces of white card. I'm using white card. You can use any card that you like. But these measure 5.5 inches in height and 5 1/8 of an inch in width. I'm going to add a couple of score lines to these. So on the 5.5 inch side, I scored down at 5 inches. So it leaves me with that 1/2 inch of a tab on the top. Now I place that tab onto the top of my scoreboard, and on the shorter side, I scored down at 1/2 inch. So now I have a 1/2 inch score line on the top and on the left hand side of my rectangle. I'm going to burnish these score lines just using my scoring tool, and then just with my scissors I'm going to cut away that square in the corner. Once that's done, I'm going to cut a piece of pattern paper. I chose these lovely pink ones with the white flowers and foliage printed all over them. And this one measures 4 7/8 by 4.5 inches. And I'm just using my Collage glue to attach this to the side. So this is one of the sides ready. I repeated this off camera 3 more times, so I have 4 of these panels all together. Now using those tabs on the side, I'm going to glue these together, and I prefer to do 2 and 2 and then glue them together. I'm using the lines on my grid mat just to make sure everything is nice and straight. Just make sure that you leave your glue to dry properly. Unlike me here, in a minute you'll see the whole thing falls apart and I have to reapply glue again just because I was a little bit impatient. So it is just really worth waiting in there. I have to re-glue it in there. So, and then I am going to close this up by attaching the side to the last of these tabs. And this is the sides of my tissue box cover ready. At this point, I do like to add my tissue box inside. So whenever I am attaching the top tabs to each other, I can make sure this way that is going to be nice and square. So I'm just adding a little bit of a glue in each of the corners, and I'm attaching those tabs to each other. And these are the tabs that I will be using in a minute to add my top, or the top of the box to, or glue it to. Those are the tabs that will hold everything together for me. But I will have to work on the top first of all. So I have prepared this little square measuring 4 5/8 by 4 5/8 of an inch in white card, and the yellow pattern paper measures 4.5 by 4.5. I brought in my oval die set from Chloe's Creative Cards. You can use any oval die set that you have in your stash. I already cut 2 of those frames, and I'm going to show you exactly how I done that using pattern papers that I printed. So I picked out 3 dies from the die set, making sure that the largest one is not any bigger than the lid of my box. It can't overhang of it. Obviously that wouldn't be a very nice look, but if that's what you prefer, you can do that. I made sure that it did fit across the lid of the box. So with the largest one and the smallest one of the 3, taped together a cutout of pink pattern paper. Then I kept the smallest one in there, and with the next one I cut out this, it's like creamy with green foliage on it. It's this paper in here, and I'm going to glue those on top of each other using Collage glue. I'm adding all these layers just to make sure that I'm strengthening up the opening as much as I can. The opening meaning with the smallest die that I used on those 2 frames, I'm going to low tack tape it onto the lid. With the pink one in here, I'm just making sure that it's as centered as I can get it, and I'm going to send this through my die cutting machine. Now my Gemini cuts through those 2 layers like butter, no problem at all, but if your die cutting machine struggles to cut through it, just send it through again just one more time, and it will, or it should cut through anyway. Now I just use my Collage glue to glue this on top of the lid, and now I have 4 layers in there, so the white card, the yellow one, and the 2 pattern papers, the oval frames. In here, I'll show you in a minute, if I turn it the other way, it won't show the sides through that hole, but every tissue box is different, so work with the shape that you will have. You may want to cut a circle opening or a square opening in there, and that's absolutely fine too. I've done that before on different tissue boxes as well. I work with the shape of the opening that is already on the box. So now I have attached the lid to those tabs, and I'm making sure that I'm applying enough pressure in there to make sure the tabs will stick to the lid. I really don't want this to start coming apart when someone's using it. So I'm coming in with my bone folder, and I'm just adding pressure from the inside as well. And now it is only down to decorating this. So from the same oval die set, I took out 3 larger ones, again making sure that the largest one of the 3 fits onto the side of my box. So the smallest one, the largest one, is straight edged with white cardstock, and that patterned one was cut with the scalloped edge one. Again, it's just optional, it's just the die set that I have. So I glued the green one on top of the largest one, just using Collage glue, and I'm adding foam pads to the smallest one, and you can see how I'm scooting these ovals to the top rather than centering them. It just gives me a different look. I like to do that sometimes. So, and then I'm adding some foam pads onto the largest one as well, and I'm going to be using this to attach it to the side of my box. And I like to reinforce my foam pads with some liquid glue as well. Firstly, because it gives me time for some wriggle room to get it right. Secondly, because it just creates a stronger bond. And now I have stamped with VersaFine Onyx Black ink, heat embossed with clear embossing powder, and I colored in using some aqua brush markers from Spectrum. Now I obviously went for yellows, oranges, and the greens. And now I'm just going to use my liquid glue to glue all these lovely flowers onto the ovals. It's such a lovely arrangement. I do love daffodils. I can't wait to start seeing daffodils coming up. It's been so cold in Ireland. You can probably hear on my nose I'm stuffy again. I've just had so enough of having all the time for colds and flus. It's just been crazy. If it's not me, it's the kids. I really cannot wait to see a little bit of a spring coming into our life and into the weather, obviously. So with the daffodils in here, I hope I am brightening someone's day who is feeling just as cold as I am. Oh dear. So I'm making sure just applying enough pressure in there, and just the last bit of the decoration that I need to add to my box is a little bow, which I made from pink satin ribbon, and I'm just using a dab of hot glue in the middle to attach it to the top of my oval, and that will finish my lovely tissue box. I really love how this one turned out. I loved it the first time and I love it still. So I am very, very grateful that I was asked to make a tutorial for this one. I really enjoyed making it one more time, and it will make a lovely present for someone I know. I really hope you enjoyed today's tutorial too. Stay tuned because I will leave some close-ups at the very end of this video, some photos and some footage. Now you can see how easily the napkins pull out on the top because it's so well reinforced, it's not going to rip the cardstock. And if you enjoyed today's tutorial, please do not forget to give me the thumbs up, leave me a comment, share my video if you would like on your platforms, and also make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so. Ring the notification bell to make sure you get notified when I upload my next video. I am very grateful that you were here with me for this one, and I'll see you back again soon. Until then, bye!